Welcome to this review of Castoriche Opinions. Today I'm talking about Dance Man Save the Music, one of the indie RPGs we are bringing to the Twitch channel. Papa Castoro, GDR, that in this specific case deals with a topic to me actually very dear, given that I grew up there in that era. That is the end of vinyl stores and the fight against the majors and against everything that holds, let's say. Let's say the music product is bound to market logic, and in any case, let's say all those aspects a little more. Let's say negotiable. Today I don't know how to speak, guys. Forgive me. Keep it like this. You can find it on ic.io or on the website of the producers who have had a great success. They were also winners of the award for Best Indie Game, and we took the liberty of bringing it to make history of our shared universe, which is the city. Obviously, the live, if you go to recover it, or if you recover the video here on Papa Castoro's YouTube channel, is plagued by audio, video, and technical problems that represent a live on Twitch. Amateur channel like ours, the game together is very, very interesting because it has, let's say, how many of the games we face, being India games, has a rather reduced mechanical aspect. That is, the mechanics itself is made up solely of dice that serve just to give that twist, let's say, of a random nature, that randomness to situations in order to push sometimes even the players. You are the enthusiasts, the regular visitors, almost the inhabitants of the ecosystem of a small vinyl store at a time when we say technology is now overtaking you and vinyl is being abandoned more and more for new technological media like Laserdisc XD. You, on the other hand, are passionate about this place, but probably more about the idea of the place, more about the stories. In fact, the creation of the character, to begin, let's say, from the base, is quite simple because you have to practically choose a role. That is the figure that you are within the ecosystem of this small shop, and those that are your interests, your hopes, your desires, basically have a before, a during, and a now. And then the game takes place through group or individual scenes that alternate between one character and another. It lends itself very well to an episodic game or one shot, as we did, because obviously, in fact, it does not have a mechanics, a structure also creative, so complex that it may take days and days of development to bring home the story of the game. We had a great time. Do you see the images of the session scrolling at accelerated speed under my voice? Of course I say that because that beaver is 50% rock and roll, but it's not 50% musical. Obviously I'm 50% rock and roll role playing, and let's just say that even though my musical culture isn't that extensive, it's not that incredible. The game lends itself and you can enjoy it greatly. Obviously, the more you dive into that setting, the more interesting, vital, lively, and enjoyable the game becomes. We did our best to be able to give, say, those sensations and that smell, antique wallpaper and smoke and sweat that was typical of certain environments during the 80s and 90s. Above all, I dare say, to be able to show it to those who have not been able to experience them. For purely personal reasons, there is nothing wrong with this statement. Let's say it's a nice time machine that allows you to play. Situations that are now obviously unlivable. Let me give you an example for everyone. It is a house where there are no mobile phones, where contact was still direct, physical very often. But technology was beginning to appear on the horizon and take away, shall we say, our passions, our ideas, and turn them into a homologation. But the game does not want to be completely negative, because I will not strip you how it went in our session. But the title of the game is Damn the Man Save the Music, is because it refers to the fact that the culprit is not the musician. It's not the creative, it's not the creator, it's not even the fans, etc. But it's not even the majors, it's not even the big houses. The big houses follow the logic that, in our case, Evil Beaver or the Evil Pope Beaver, that you will know during the adventures of our channel. They basically just want be at the top of the hill, and that's an absolutely understandable thing, especially in a commercial environment and one that expects you to earn something. Like I said, you can learn the game in a few minutes. In my opinion, it is not even essential to explain this during the preparation of the game. Basically, we did everything during the session. There was no prior preparation. The players arrived unaware, apart from the mythical Kalu, who obviously set up this whole situation, leaving me the hot potato of being the narrator. But unlike those that are perhaps the most traditional games, and above all the most traditional settings of the role-playing game, which usually range from science fiction to fantasy, but almost always have an adventure, a mission, a task at the center. Here the mission, a task, in fact, is to safeguard the store, one way or another. It is not certain that you will be successful. The challenges are clearly managed both by commitment and the desire to sacrifice something, and even a little by luck, in fact. The dice are used very little, very relatively. They are standards given by 6 that only serve to evaluate who makes the highest score, and very limited both in terms of the number of times you pull and in terms of quantity, because usually you don't pull more than 2 6s per side, or the man or the one who's trying to close your shop, or your character or characters. If it has a choral action, the characters have, as a way of interacting with the world, the possibility of choosing their approach, which is obviously a thing that goes a lot even now in games that are more, let us say, constructed, more structured, and practically they may choose to sacrifice a part of themselves, testing their limits and abilities. Whenever the narrator and the situation requires your character to do something sensitive to the story, important to the advancement of the plot, it is required. What level of deepening, and above all, what level of personal sacrifice do you want to put into play? If you have to take care of arranging the file of recorded records at the store, you may decide to throw yourself headlong into that enterprise. And then focus completely on the task. Complete your objectives while simultaneously fostering connections with other characters and engaging with the setting's broader cast. Or dedicate yourself completely to achieving your goal, completely ignoring the practical purpose that has been entrusted to you and that could help the store. This is to mechanically put into play what is the theme of life sometimes, very often, that is the need to choose between I want to do something for myself, or I want to do something for others, or I can combine the two things. The game, which is called, as I said, Dome the Man, Save the Music, was a very pleasant experience. We had 2 novices and 2 players who know the environment, because obviously there were both those who deal with developing and producing games and those who deal with talking about them all their lives, but also 2 novice players, 2 players who maybe experience something on their skin, but nothing like that. Particular, because then indie games remain a bit particular, especially in the modern RPG environment. Almost all the games we will play are exactly as I told you on icuha.io. However, you can find the links in this video and especially in the social posts that will accompany it. Papa Castoro greets you, thanks you for following his rant, recover the game, recover the video on YouTube that will allow you to understand, probably also the game. We try to do our best not to be too much. See captions, but also, and above all, not to get lost in the middle of the game, but also to be able to talk about the game. There will be other sessions, other events are coming. You can recover everything on the links that you will find in the description of the video, namely the YouTube channel and the Twitch channel, me.